Do you ever feel mom guilt?
I used to, and now I feel dad guilt. um, so I had this project back last year where it consumed me for a good 6 weeks, and a lot of the lift fell on my husband, and my kids were fine, and they recovered quickly from my focus being on this project. But I was like, oh man, he's doing a lot, and I felt bad for that. And somehow, thank God, I'm free of the children guilt now. Um, and now it's like when I'm putting the load a lot on my husband, I feel bad, and we shouldn't have to. It's ironic. I came back from that project, and everyone was like, "Oh man, poor Gavin, man, he really was in it." And then he had to leave town for 3 weeks, and no one was feeling sorry for me, and no one gave me a fucking award. It's like in the airplane when the dad's, quieting the child. They're like, "Oh, best dad ever," but when the mom's doing it, it's like, "That's your job." So I thought it was very ironic. Even my close, very woke friends were like, "Man, he really gave it his all." So, uh, so yeah, that's my latest is dad guilt.
It's like if my husband like will be carrying one of my kids on their shoulders and everyone's like, oh, like silent round of applause. And then like I'm carrying my 50-pounder and my 30-pounder on my back and one on my front. And I'm like getting them to the car and people are like looking at me. I'm like, yeah, no, that's the normal thing. Like
Yeah,
this is the
exactly.
metaphorical and literal weight that we always carry. But
Yeah,
um,
my husband just says the bar is so low for men that it makes him look really good. He just is like, the bar is really low for us. So if I'm doing normal, like 50% of the job, I look like a fucking hero. And I'm like, you do, because I have a lot of friends, and it's not, they're not pulling 50% of the weight.
no, it is true though. I mean, I agree. It's like, wow, you made your kids lunch and you knew what to put in. Yeah, we all live together. We know our children's foods and tastes and preferences.
But also sometimes that annoys me. Like when I hear women complaining, like, I'm all the emotional labor. I'm like, first of all, no one forced you to have a kid. And shame on you for not having an honest conversation with your partner about splitting duties and equality within the household. Like, if you don't have that conversation, then don't have a kid. And I think that it is on us to say, if something, hey, I made dinner, you do the dishes. I'm going to cook, you're going to clean. And those conversations are uncomfortable, but shit, you signed a contract of marriage with that person. It's bound to be uncomfortable sometimes. So I do think women need to be more vocal. There are things, I think, genetically that just come to us that we maybe assume that the other sex knows, and they just don't. And so they have to be taught, or they have to be spoken to about it in a non-confrontational, a very loving way about how to do stuff. And I think that makes it easier on everybody.